Today I want to talk about van life myths. So things that you may see on social media versus what is really the reality of this lifestyle. Just for starters, I say van life as a lifestyle descriptor. I don't think it matters if you live in your car, a truck camper, an RV. I just kind of break that down into van life. So van life myth number one is that you have to live in a van and have a fancy van set up. It's great to see that on social media. I love the aesthetic goals that it sets, something for people to be inspired by and look up to. But to be honest, you don't need to start with the fanciest van setup. If that is within your means and you can pay for all of that, pay for the van, pay for the setup, or buy one that's already converted, but you absolutely do not have to have that to start. It's okay if that's maybe a goal in the future, but if you can start somewhere else sooner, then start somewhere else sooner. Things aren't just always perfect, just sometimes it takes just starting somewhere and working your way towards something instead of waiting for years and years and years, hoping that you're gonna have the money for this beautiful van. And then you're just putting off your goal longer and longer and longer. Van life myth number two is that you need to travel all over the US, hit all the national parks. If that is your goal and that's what you want to do, that's fine. But you can also do van life in a very slow, relaxed, simple way of living. Sure, I would love to see all kinds of things throughout the country, but for me right now, that's just not really my goal. My goal was just to slow down my pace of life, to simplify my life. And by that, I don't really travel really far. I go where the weather is taking me, wherever the most moderate climate that I can find, that's where I'm going. And typically that doesn't mean that I go all that far. I think everyone can have a different goal with this lifestyle. I guess what you see on social media is more like the romanticizing of traveling and being able to see all kinds of different things. And I love that too. If that's not within your means, because let's face it, traveling more means more gas, the potential for repairs needing to be done, you're putting more wear and tear on your vehicle. So, you have to just think what's within your means and what do you really want out of this lifestyle? What's your intention with this lifestyle? Because it doesn't have to be traveling all over the country. Van life myth number three is that you have to be a content creator. And I know that seems ironic because I'm on YouTube talking about this, but I make $0 doing content creation. For the past 2.5 years, I've made money selling steel buildings. I also sold raw land. You can really do a lot of different freelance work. You can also still work a 9-to-5 if your job allows remote. You want to make sure that you have the right amount of power that you need if you need a computer and a monitor and all these different things. So it really just depends on what setup you're capable of having and how resourceful you are to find something that works for you. Van life myth number four is that you have to be free of responsibility. I know, at least what I see on social media, is a lot of people, they probably aren't free of responsibility, but they certainly don't have children, which is a lot of responsibility. To be honest, when I started this, I was a new mom. I was a single mom. I had never done anything like this before, and my daughter was just 10 months old. And I'm just one person manning this whole thing while having a toddler, having a dog, and having a cat. At least for me, it's a lot of work, and that's probably why I don't travel all over, because my day-to-day tasks are a lot. So I do what I can, and that's completely fine with me. That's my way of living this life. If you are a parent or if you want to be a parent and you want to also live on the road, it's completely possible. I have met other couples on the road that have children. So it's not incredibly common. If you want to make it work, if there's a will to make it work, then you're going to make it work somehow. Van life myth number five is that you have to be wealthy and you need to have it all figured out. When I started this, I bought an RV or a camper. It has all of its systems. It's set up to be able to camp in, live in, but a lot of the things also didn't work. So I didn't have a working fridge. I didn't have a working generator, which meant I had no power source because I didn't have solar. I didn't have anything. At first, I just bought a cooler and was having to drive into town every day or two to go get ice and get new groceries. I didn't have all the bells and whistles, but I didn't let that stop me from moving forward. I knew over time I would accumulate what I need, and I see that from everyone else on the road too. most of the people that I met didn't start with the whole setup, the whole shebang. You know, just little by little you add to your system as you can, and that's okay. Don't let the fear of needing to have everything figured out stop you, because sometimes it takes just throwing yourself into it to learn on the go. And that's just kind of how I felt with this whole van life experience. And I don't think you need to be wealthy to live this lifestyle. I think having an income obviously is important, because you don't want to be broken down and not have the money to repair things. So you need to have something coming in, whether that's right at the start of your travels, or if you have intentions to find a job down the road, but you have some kind of a cushion, I think is important. You figure it out. You know, if you want to figure it out, you'll figure it out. And don't let the fear of not having it all together scare you. I think it's the fear, really, which is valid. I understand that you don't want to put yourself in a risky situation, but sometimes if you know that something feels so right for you and you really, really, really have a desire to go after something and your intentions are pure, then you need to be able to sit within that faith and don't let fear stop you. Thank you for watching. If you want to continue along on this journey, like, subscribe to my channel. I'll be sure to continue making videos, and thanks for watching.